Next up, we have a panel of our students representing the students' vision and view and experience of the profiles. And Chrissy Schuler is going to moderate this panel, and I'll let her take it away. Thank you.
Thank you, Margie. Well, we have 7 incredible IUPUI students with us today who have agreed to share some of their experiences around learning and the profiles in the classroom, outside of the classroom. And these are incredibly accomplished students. You're going to love hearing from them. We have a range of majors, a range of years at IUPUI, from freshman to graduate student. So I'm excited to hear what they have to say. So first, I'm going to ask them to introduce themselves and tell you a little bit about who they are, what they're studying, and anything else they want to mention about their work at IUPUI. And so Jalen will get us started.
Hello, my name is Jalen Pullings. I am a junior studying accounting and finance for the Kelley School of Business. A little bit about, well, other than that, I am involved in a lot of organizations. So I'm a peer mentor for DEEP, as well as FYS for O-Team, as well as I am a keeper of Exchequer for the Lambda chapter of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated.
Hi, my name is Lonnie Dixon, and I'm a biomedical informatics undergraduate student. I'm with the School of Informatics and Computing, and I am a junior. A little of what I'm involved in on campus, it's pretty wide, but I am the president of the Filipinx Student Association for the second time this upcoming academic year, as well as an SOIC student ambassador, a social justice scholar, and I also work as a stem cell lab assistant at the IU Med School, as well as conducting my own research on campus as an IU-LSAM scholar.
Hello everyone, I'm Fernanda. I'm now a graduate student. I'm majoring in human-computer interaction. I just graduated from IUPUI in May from Heron with my BFA in visual communication design. In my undergrad, I was very involved on campus. I was part of O-Team, IPMP, which is the International Peer Mentoring Program. So I tried to stay involved as much as possible, trying to make connections and just contribute to IUPUI. And I'm also a graphic designer in the Office of Communications. I've been there for a little over 2 years now, and I actually designed these slides for today. So, thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Sophie Shakil. I'm a senior in biomedical engineering at the Purdue School of Engineering and Technology. I've done research through IU School of Medicine for the past 2 years. So I've completed 2 different projects. One was through IU Simon Cancer Center, and then one at the Biochemistry and Molecular Biology Department at IU School of Medicine. This year I've been interning, started interning in the industry aspect of my degree for the summer and continuing it into the fall semester. And I've served as the president for Biomedical Engineering Society and the vice president for Society of Women Engineers.
Hi, my name is Gracie Lyons. I'm a junior studying psychology at Purdue School of Science. I'm an intern for the Office of Sustainability, and in that position I've helped create the Green Travel Guide. I'm also a teaching assistant for Dr. Sheenam Krupa in her Lifespan Development course.
Hi everyone, my name is Tiana Roundtree. I am a health science major in the School of Health and Human Sciences. I'm a senior. I primarily work in the office of the Institute for Engaged Learning. I work very closely with the Jaguar Leadership Network program. I'm actually a recent graduate of that program. I graduated as a junior, so yeah.
Hi everyone, this is my first year at IUPUI, but my 3rd year in college. And I'm a member of the United States Army Reserves, and I'm a cadet here at IUPUI. Even though this is just my first year at IUPUI, I've been involved in so many things for the last couple of months. I've been involved in DIP, the Bonner Leader Scholarship, the Norman Brown, and the Honors College, all contributing towards making the community better. And I look forward to so much IUPUI has to offer me.
Thanks, everyone. I think you agree that we've got some pretty amazing students up here in front of us. You get a round of applause after just your introductions. Oh my goodness. All right. And I hope you noticed that some of these students are also featured in the slides as you Goodbye. Okay, so let's get started with our first question. I'm sorry? Oh,
I'm sorry. My name is Faye.
thank you, Leslie. All right, so we have, let me see if I can do this. Jalen, Solani, Fernanda, Safia, Gracie, Tiana, and Faith. All right, so let's get started. So, first thing I'd like you to do is share one experience in which you had an opportunity to develop your learning in one of the profiles. So this could be a classroom experience, it could be an engaged learning experience outside the classroom, it could be in one of the many clubs or organizations that you're involved in. And as an aside, I was mentioning this to the students previously, but in the employer panel that we just witnessed, they all emphasized how important it is that students can articulate those learning experiences in specific ways. No pressure or anything. So, Jalen, you want to kick us off?
I would say the biggest experience for me to develop as a communicator would be being a peer mentor. I'm going into my second year for DEEP. If you're not familiar with DEEP, DEEP is in Taylor Hall, but DEEP stands for Diversity Enrichment and Achievement Program, and it's a program really catered to help minorities make their transition from high school to college. And I would say having a wide variety of mentees. I would say I started around like 13 last year. By the end of the year, I had like 17 mentees, and they're all freshmen. So being able just to really be able to articulate what I kind of need from them or what they need from me. I really learned that skill just because everybody's different. So it's like I have to learn how to speak to you. I have to learn what really works for you and what's best and what advice you can really benefit from me.
Thanks, Jalen. Anyone who wants to jump in next? We can go down the line, or you can jump in as you.
I can go. I would also have to say communication was one of the skills that I developed. And for me, my research has been one of the most critical experiences of my undergraduate experience. I've learned how to articulate my work to people of various levels within STEM. As an undergraduate researcher, you're working under a mentor who has done that work for a large period of their life. And you're also communicating that science with your peers who are at the same level of understanding as you, but then also oftentimes communicating that work to family members who may not have that STEM background and therefore not understand the work to the same extent. So to be able to articulate my work to all these different people and have them comprehend truly what I'm doing was really amazing, because I saw that transition when I moved from the academia aspect of research into the industry. Because part of that whole communication skills is also learning and understanding your own work and knowing when to ask for help and being able to voice that appropriately so that you can get whatever you desired and needed to move forward. So I would say that communication through research, through internship, it's really helped me grow as an individual.
Thanks, Sophia. Hey.
My experience has been outside of the classroom. Just being in the Army has given me the instinct of you put the people first before you. And the profile of learning, I would say, is community contributor, because not many people are willing to offer to the community. Most people are after what the community wants to give to them. And the minimum people that are out here trying to make the community better, and that is one thing that I try to bring to IEPUI, the community down here willing to make the society and everybody the resources that have been provided to make just each and everyone a better person has really been like huge for me. So the part of the profile I would say for me is a community contributor. Always, putting yourself out there, always volunteering for things, always making sure other people are okay.
If I could interject, sorry, Tiana. Faith, you told me a story when we first met about why you chose IUPUI, your first year student here. Do you remember what you said? Would you want to share that?
Oh, yes, I did. I did tell her, when it comes to choosing colleges, I'm from Africa. I just moved here a couple of years ago. Like, I don't know anything. I'm brand new here. So I started talking to people. I talked to alumni. I talked to Jill. I don't know if anybody know her. the division chief for IUPD, and she connected me to a bunch of people, and just hearing from other people and hearing resources that IUPDY has and what they can offer, like the community, that's what prompted me to apply to Bonner's Leaders, to Honors College, to Norman Brown, because all these communities that are IUPUI, they are giving back to the community. They are making sure it's not just about the academic part of it, because at the end of the day, that's what makes everybody fulfilled. Living this world knowing you've done something to help somebody else.
Thank you, Faye. Tiana, I interrupted you.
Oh, no, I was just moving the mic, but I can go next. We kind of have to share here, so. So one of the most impactful experiences that I've had is my work with the Jaguar Leadership Network program. I work primarily with Kim Cozy, the coordinator for that program, and she oftentimes just hands me tasks and is like, here, can you complete this? And through those tasks, I really kind of touch on all 4 of the profiles. I'll have to create a program, and then I'll have to like, how is this going to help students? And then, sorry, excuse me, I lost my train of thought. I'll have to design like slides and flyers for this program, and then I'll have to create tests or quizzes that go with the program. And then this program is going to last longer than I will be here, so I feel like it touches on each one of the 4 profiles.
In my internship, oftentimes I am handling raw data from anywhere within the Sustainable Development Goals. So a lot of the times, if you've dealt with anything in sustainability, a lot of the times the answer does not come to you immediately. So being able to kind of flex my creativity and just create any type of solution that works. And I work along Jessica Davis, who is so passionate about her career, if you've ever met her. She's been a very, very great mentor to me. So being able to go to her with these problems and be like, I think I figured it out, and just watching her talk with you about these solutions and see her light up has been a great experience.
Amanda or Sonali?
Yes, I can go next. I would also say that I relate to all 4 profiles and different perspectives. So I think that's a good thing that I can kind of grab from everything and apply that not only in my academics but also like in my career field. Mostly I would say the community contributor was a big part of my undergrad. Looking back, I was so involved with being a mentor and having like that mentor-mentee relationship and being able to help others, like incoming students or transfer students, to be involved on campus and kind of step outside of their comfort zone. Because for me, looking back as a freshman, I was super introverted. I was very quiet and reserved. And so I felt like I was missing something. I would see my peers around me hanging out with each other after classes or having group studies and things like that. So I felt like I was missing something until my mentor encouraged me to be part of the team. And after that, so many doors opened up. I made so many connections, and I was able to help other students make those connections on their own and help them kind of network outside of the classroom. And I remember some of my students came up to me one year and told me, thanks to you, this friend group, we're still together, we're still friends. So that kind of touched my heart that I was able to make that impact on someone's life, just like my mentor had made that impact in my life back in my freshman year. And through this, I was able to kind of gain more empathy towards others from different backgrounds, both academic backgrounds and cultural backgrounds. Particularly when I was in IPMP, I met so many diverse cultures, and I was able to connect with other people outside of what I was used to, coming from my own cultural background. So I feel like that was a great opportunity for me to be more culturally aware and also apply that to my career, how I am able to find solutions to problems that I can connect to other people. And I'm a designer, I come from a design background. So a lot is communicating, being able to communicate through design and being able to figure out how I can communicate effectively and reach other people. I'm also bilingual, so being able to contribute to other languages and be able to reach more people than what if I were just to stay in my little bubble. Back in my freshman year, if I was just to myself. So I definitely learned a lot from being able to get these opportunities to contribute and make connections with other students, other faculty, and staff members. So, thank you.
Sorry, I was like trying to gather my thoughts, I guess, because I connect a lot with the profiles as well, like Fernanda. So the two that like I feel like I am the most, I guess, connected with is the innovator and then the community contributor as well. So I'll go into the community contributor first. So as I said, I am the president of the Filipinx Student Association. So I'm half Black and half Filipino, so my background is just all over the place, but I never really had touch, I guess, with my roots. So I would say the position kind of just fell on me when I was just like, oh, wow, there's a Filipino Student Association. That's so cool. Like, I want to get involved with the community. So I went out and I did it and then came out as president, but it's, I don't know. The last leader was like, I see something in you, and I was like, all right. But it was a really valuable experience for me because I personally don't see myself as a leader, but a lot of people do. But I was able to bring just like a Filipino community together, which is really important for those that are just coming to IUPUI and they're like, there's Filipinos here, there's Asians. I'm like, yeah, there is, and we're all a family. And just like creating like an environment where people feel safe and they feel home and we can talk and be friends. And yeah, so that was still is one of my most valuable experiences. And then as an innovator, I specifically connect with like making decisions. So last summer, I had the opportunity to work with Dr. Roper in his Down syndrome lab, and they specifically work with a gene called DYRK1A. And I have never had research experience before, so this was my first experience, and I just went in like, all right, let's do this, and I don't understand anything, but that's kind of how I am. I like to challenge myself. I like to try and gain more experiences to learn and whatnot. But the project that I went on was about basically determining a relationship between this gene, DYRK1A, and its communication between the brain and the bone, which for those that are in research, that has not been done before. There's a lot of research on, for instance, like brain, and there's a lot of research on bone, but there's nothing that is out there that is creating, like that is saying, hey, there's a communication that's going on, and we're going to discover it. So just paving that new way for Down syndrome research has been very valuable.
Thank you, Solani. You've all already started down the path to answer this next question. I'm going to ask it anyway, but then maybe ask you to pull out the specific skills, attitudes, behaviors that you learned from the experiences that you're mentioning. So what specific skills, attitudes, behaviors, knowledge did you learn from your experience?
And through that, I kind of learned more about program planning and collaboration with her, which falls under like communication. And then this program it'll last longer than me, like I said, so it's a community contributor. But yeah, we would go back and forth on like, I would present her with like a draft and she'd be like, okay, that looks good, but can you tweak this, this, and this? And then I would do it again and so forth until the program was complete. And I feel like that's just really valuable because you don't necessarily always get those skills in your classroom. So I really enjoyed being able to work with her and complete tasks like that.
Thanks, Tiana.
Yeah.
I would say a big skill for me that I've learned is actually confident. Like coming here to the United States, I had a different accent, I have like different experience, and everybody else was different from me. But like being involved in these community services has made me be able to communicate with other people from different backgrounds, like diversity, different ethnic groups, and I've also been able to share my own cultural and ethical background with other people from other places as well, and also learn from them as well. And I'll say that's a big thing for me.
Thank you, Faith. You're all so polite.
I would say one of the biggest things that I've learned is simply how to be a professional within STEM, how to be comfortable in my own curiosity. A successful, I would say, well-rounded STEM professional, or any professional for that matter, would encompass all of these 4 traits. And over the experiences that I've had, whether it be my research or my industry experience, or just simply the leadership positions that I've had, I've worked with people of all backgrounds, various backgrounds, and that's really helped me hone in on my own skills, how to communicate, how to innovate, how to give back to the community, and how to just leave IUPUI as a better individual than I came in as, to have that continuous empathy and then just continue to grow as an individual and know that if I ever needed anything, I could reach out to people or give back to the people, and just not having those thoughts and feelings and just having that certainty, I say with all these experiences, gives me confidence as I'm ready to leave IUPUI.
I feel like I covered this in my previous response, so I will give you another example. In my junior year, I was part of a research project for MURI, where I was a UX designer, and that is the career that I'm wanting to go more into. So I was able to work on this research project regarding an app that is called Easel, which is just-in-time reflection based. So I was able to contribute to that and be part of this larger project that has been present at IUPUI. It was developed by undergraduate students. It's like an ongoing project. So I was able to gain that experience outside of my classes and have more of that real world experience, how it actually looks like in the industry, and be able to collaborate with other backgrounds like engineers and programmers, and kind of work with them and get that experience from front end to back end. So I think that is something that I can definitely apply to my graduate program now with that experience, and also that connection that I made with my mentor. Thanks to him, he was also a letter of recommendation for me going into my graduate program. So definitely that opportunity to make that connection and be able to build those relationships with your mentors, I feel like it's something that I could definitely take with me, and even like post after after this project, I still have connections with them, and keep in touch and kind of continue growing from what I learned.
Building kind of off of what Sophia said, being comfortable with her own curiosity, I kind of learned how to be comfortable with the idea that it's okay to fail the first couple of times. It's okay to try again. So a skill that I've learned is definitely perseverance and patience, definitely. Just knowing that you have those mentors to fall back on if you need help. But being comfortable with the idea that you do have the ability to go about a certain problem and fix it in the best way that you know how, and then if that doesn't work, it's okay.
I'm gonna piggyback off of both of them because they kind of went into two that I was gonna talk about. But yeah, getting comfortable with my curiosity, but also confidence. As a Black student in STEM, I have just a history of people telling me that I'm not smart and that I can't always ask questions, and always just wanting to know why does this do this? Or for instance, with PCR, why do the bands go here or whatnot, whatever you're running. But yeah, it really did give me just a step in myself because I lost that for a very long time.
A couple of skills I would say I learned would definitely say, first one would be it's okay to fail, 100%, because as a mentor, it's not a cookie cutter thing. You can't literally mentor everybody the same. Some people may need more help than others, some people don't need your help at all. It's just a matter of, are you present when I need you? So not knowing that, I would say a year ago today, because that was my first year mentoring, I thought it was gonna be simple, easy. Everybody's gonna need to know X, Y, Z, when that wasn't the case. So it was at one point I was failing as a mentor because I really wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing. I thought I was doing it correct, but I had to really sit down with myself as well as talk to my supervisor at the time. I was like, am I doing this right? And it was a great conversation though. I love getting critiqued. As well as talking to some of my mentees at the time, I was like, okay, cool, let's start over. And that also ties into being resilient, because I didn't really want to let that interaction that I had been doing for maybe a couple weeks to really impact the rest of my year. Because it had only been maybe a month, and I had from September all the way to May still, so I was like, I'm not gonna really let a couple weeks mess everything up for me. So I had to just keep that mindset of, okay, cool, you failed here, but you can only go up. As well as, like I said, being resilient, because some mentees, like I said, they won't talk to you like that. They don't need you. And being able to understand that, I didn't let that beat myself up to get me in the mindset of, am I doing this correct still, or am I hurting them more than helping them? When in reality, like I said, everybody's different. And I had to really just learn that
you guys can all agree, these experiences really helped us combat like imposter syndrome.
Yes.
Yeah, I know I personally felt that way, but then now I can look back on these experiences that I've done where I've been given like this freedom to like create this project and like present it to people, and I can look back on this and be like, wow, I really did that. I'm worthy of being here. I am a valuable student. I'm a valuable contributor to society.
I wanted to add on that just like having engaged learning like outside of the classroom is just so important, because you can take courses and you're like, yeah, like I'm learning, but like when you're in like an internship or whatever program you're in, you're kind of just like putting yourself out there and building on skills that you might have thought that, like, for instance, like I never thought I was a good like public speaker. Look at me now. So you get there and it works.
Anyone else?
I guess just to add to that, like in fighting the imposter syndrome, we all go through that, and then having that proper mentorship outside of classroom, those people that are there, like whether they're answering your questions and just like there for you when you're curious, or just giving you the support to go out there and just do whatever it is that you need to do. It really helps. I've been lucky in the sense that like my research mentor, I've worked with them for the past few years, and they've been incredibly kind and teaching me everything. I also started research with minimal experience and background, and I left it confident in my skills and myself as a professional. And I can say that it was truly because of their mentorship. So it really does go a long way.
I started taking notes on all of the skills that our students mentioned that connect in terms of what they've learned related to the profiles. I lost track. I was trying to be a good moderator like Matt in our previous session, but I mean, so many wonderful things: curiosity, cultural competence, designing, creativity, trial and error, the freedom to fail. Do we really give our students the freedom to fail? And then work with them, mentoring, relationships, team building, perseverance, patience, resilience. And I also loved how so many of you talked about, just the journey almost that these experiences have, and the reflection that you've done in terms of how you think of yourselves. You didn't think of yourself as a researcher or a public speaker or someone who belonged here. Yet these experiences allowed you to do that. That's wonderful. Again, you've started to answer the next question, so I'll ask it, but then I'll throw in a different question if you want to go in that direction as well, okay? So my next question was, why do you consider these experiences important? I think we've already started to go there. The question that I didn't ask, and I will throw that out too in case you want to go in that direction, is what advice would you give for prospective IUPUI students? Why should they consider IUPUI, the opportunities that we provide? Maybe they don't know about the opportunities that they provide, or think of themselves as a researcher, or think of themselves in these sorts of ways. So why was the experience important, or what advice would you give to future IUPUI students?
For advice, I would be gung-ho and say, like, get involved as early as possible. Just because going to school and going home every day is not the ideal thing that you would want to do in college, because I feel like you're not learning all the skills that you should be learning. Like, yes, you're passing your classes, yes, you understand the material, but in the real world, you're gonna need more than that. You need transferable skills. You need to know how to communicate, problem solve, innovate, basically, what we're talking about here. But another thing also, you don't know what you're good at and what you're not good at unless you try it. So a good mentor based off of conversation I've had with past mentees as well as like my mentees this year. So I was in a classroom with them for FYS and Bridge, and my Bridge community is with Deep. So I had 25 kids, I don't want to say kids, 25 freshmen. I'm so sorry. But I had 25 freshmen in that class, and 9 of them, so 25 of them are my mentees through FYS and OT, but 9 out of that 25 are my D student mentees as well. So I have some that are overlapping, and I knew I wasn't going to get all 25 to be my D mentee. That just wasn't going to be possible. So, but the 9 that I did, when they found out I was a mentor, I was like, I'm so glad you're my mentor. We got connected to you. You're so high energy. I was like, yes, I'll take my points. So that was just like satisfaction to me, because it told me like, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. You're liking what you're doing, and you're also like reaping the benefit of you're making an impact, and that's really what I want to do. So yeah, that would be my advice. Just get involved, because it's really rewarding, and there's a lot that you can take away from college aside from just getting A's and B's.
I love that you asked this question. I was my first thought was honestly just like diversity. So I actually had a full ride to Miami University in Oxford, Ohio, and that was actually my dream school until I talked to a lot of like alum from IUPUI, and just hearing about like the diversity here and like the community, and just like, for instance, like the success rate of students that like get their degree and then like transition like into industry was just like a lot more than a lot of other universities I compared to. So yeah, but also just the scholarship opportunities. I came here not knowing about the scholarships, and that's why I'm a little bit in debt, but we're gonna ignore that. But telling students that there are scholarships here, and the faculty and staff, like they do care about your professional career, and it'll benefit you to come here. And the community's great, and free t-shirts also.
The free t-shirts is real. My mom said, last week during Bridge and O-Team, I got like 7 free shirts. They're all different colors, and then they had different activities outside where they were shooting shirts out of like the shirt cannon. I got a yellow one and a blue one. I didn't want the yellow one, so I was like, and I gave it to somebody else. But I got like 7 free shirts last week.
So the incentive is the merchandise.
Honestly, I'll say why the experience was important to me. It was important for me to get out of my comfort zone. It was important for me to be open to knowing more people, to be welcomed here as a person. And as just a future IUPUI student, because it's going to be my first semester as IUPUI, I'm just going to talk about the advice I've heard from other people is mainly to just put yourself out there. What's the consent? No. And you're gonna try again. Just apply for as many things as you can. Get involved. Talk to people. Be known. It's not like, because at the end of the day, it's about who knows you. But connect to more people. Network. Be willing to volunteer yourself. Like, just be out there and not just be a simple bubble. Or because that's why I'm here today. I'm like, when I actually emailed her, I was like, I want to be on this spot now. Then I took myself. I was like, hold up, you're not even a student yet. but I'm just like, I'm like, I'm just gonna keep my head above the waters and just, just swim.
To kind of jump off that, I feel like an important piece of advice for like first year students or incoming students is to remember everyone you meet, because they are a connection. You can, like, networking is real and it is a thing. I know, like, during Bridge Week, I met a faculty member that I never met, and they connected me with another faculty member that runs a disability facility for people with disabilities, and like that's what I'm interested in. And I'm like, okay, I wouldn't have known this if I never would have just said hello to this faculty member,
Yeah, I agree. Networking is probably the best advice I can give to any first year student. When I first got to IUPUI as an aspiring occupational therapist in downtown Indy, I knew that there was probably a lot of opportunities for me, but I didn't know where to start. So getting to meet with certain faculty members like Dr. Krupa, who has been a great mentor in my psychology department, but also going to the prep's office and finding occupational therapists that I can shadow and just create those relationships that I can now build off of and go to many more places and find what I really like to do.
I think all of these advices are great. So like simply just getting involved, reaching out, networking, all of this, it sounds very cliche, And coming from a person who's naturally introverted, it sounds really scary, but it's actually not that bad. Once you reach out, it's just everyone's so nice and friendly, and they legitimately want to help. And if they don't know how to, they'll connect you with somebody who will know how. And I've landed the first 2 employment opportunities on campus. They were through pure connections. The professors recommended me through the IU School of Liberal Arts, and I started working in the Speakers Lab. And then my humanities professor recommended me for the research project, and ended up working with the IU Simon Cancer Center. And these were just professors. So imagine how far you could take yourself if you progress those connections and build that network. It really does help in the long term.
Something I would always tell my mentees, like literally the first thing I would say is learn from our mistakes. And don't be like me back in freshman year, like be involved as soon as possible. And it's a little repetitive, just like everyone has been saying, but I would like to emphasize that to incoming freshmen or transfer students or wherever they're coming from at any point, just to stay involved, be involved, and make those connections. Don't be afraid to step outside of your comfort zone. And it's very beneficial, like from an early point, like as soon as possible. That's something, if I were to go back as an undergrad, that's the first thing I would do. Or the first thing that I would say to my freshman year self, to be involved, not be afraid to step outside of my comfort zone. And it just, I would say, answering the first question, I would say this is very important because it helps you build that kind of like open-mindedness and kind of like maintain that growth mindset as well. And you can apply that in any career field that you're going into or any like background, academic background you're in. I feel like it's something that you can apply at any point in your life and kind of help you be the person that you want to be.
Great advice. Oh, Faith, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, adding up that, like, never hesitate to ask for help. IUPUI has so much resources to help you succeed. Like the people after just being you, not just you as a student, they're also concerned about your mental health and other areas of your life as well. So the IUPUI has so much resources, and you just have to take use of it and never hesitate to ask for help at all.
Yeah, I truly feel like the faculty and staff here at IUPUI are here for the students, and a lot of them will help in any way they can.
I was also gonna say, I guess, just like one of my experience is like important to me, but just in general as well, that a lot of the students that are coming to IUPUI, like they have voices and they have these passions that they want, but sometimes they don't even know what their passion is. So it's really just important that they are getting out there and just trying as much as they can. Because, for instance, like I didn't even know that research was what I liked until I had an internship with Eli Lilly, and then I was in the labs, and my mentor was like, "Do you ever consider doing research?" And I'm like, "What? That's a profession?" So now here I am, and I'm striding towards that. And after I'm also a social justice scholar, so we had a leadership, like maneuvering through social justice conversations. It was led by Dr. Touton. I don't know if I'm saying that right. So
Was it Tucson? Dr. Tucson?
Touton, yes.
Tucson, yes.
And I don't have a lot of Black mentors, but seeing her on stage and just like embodying like what she had like for her PhD and stuff, like it inspired me. Like I sat there and I was like, I'm getting my PhD. I decided. I didn't know that my freshman year, but
That's excellent, y'all. I'm going to keep on the advice theme. So all of us are here because we're committed to providing good learning experiences for our students. We want you to succeed. We want all of our students to have these wonderful experiences that you've talked about. So what's a piece of advice that you would give to us about developing profiles, experiences, about thinking about how we can help our students? Anything you want us to take away?
One thing I would say is just taking time to learn each and every person, because you have a different perspective of every other person. Just taking time to learn who that person is and as an individual and how to work with that person, because what might work for me might not work for her, and that's something like is important for faculty members to know, like different approach with different students and what works best for them.
I agree 100% with that statement. Another thing I would say would be to be open. And when I say open, I mean like approachable. Because I've had some professors or some faculty and staff that I eventually got cool with. Like originally I was like, nah, y'all kind of scary. So it's like kind of like getting the ice broken. Like I don't want to pick on you, Dr. Turner, but I love Dr. Turner. She's a very, very great person. Yeah, she's right there. But I love Dr. Turner. I love her so much just because of how open and accepting she is, as well as people like Dr. Eric Williams, Dr. Corey Clark, everybody for the most part, University College. They're nice, open, approachable people. And then for my major with accounting, who was his name? Oh, Kevin Yancey. Yes, he teaches AT too, so managerial accounting. He was probably my best professor I've had, and it's just because of how open and honest he was. And it was like, if I had any question, I could email him just about at any time, and he would let me know what I'm doing right and what I'm doing wrong.
I was just gonna say, spreading awareness. As a junior, I came in not knowing that there was like a lot of scholarship or research opportunities. So just letting students know that like, hey, like there's DSRP or there's a Norman Brown scholarship or there's these options that can help you like prolong like a professional career. Like from someone that like I wanted to do research, but I was like, oh, I don't want to like do it and not be paid or whatever that may be. So just letting them know that there are those opportunities and they can have that support financially and from the faculty as well.
I would say be empathetic and show that like genuine interest in your students. Looking back at like my professors at Heron, they always showed like genuine interest in me as a student and like as a whole class. They always saw so much potential within us. And like speaking about myself, like I was very insecure like in my career field and what I was wanting to do, but they saw so much more in me and like the potential that I had, not only like within the classroom but also outside of the classroom. Another person would be my advisor at Heron. He saw so much potential in me, and with that connection, he also like he was so many letters of recommendation. He wrote so many letters of recommendation for me. He spoke out for me so I can be involved in different events that other students didn't have the opportunity. So I was very blessed to have that sort of connection with my advisor, and having him be like that person that I could trust and go to ask for advice or anything with my career. It really helped like spark that to want to continue to like believe in myself and see that in me. So I would say be empathetic with your students and show that genuine interest in them. And if you see some potential, like reach out to them and tell them, because sometimes we just need that reassurance, especially if it's a long semester, hard semester, we definitely need that reassurance. So I would say be empathetic with them and just see that potential in them.
I definitely agree with being empathetic just because, like, I hate transactions, but not transactions. I hate relationships that feel very transactional. It's just, you're here for this purpose only. That's cool and fine, but like what works for me is you actually get to know who I am, vice versa, just because I feel like that goes a long way. So something I always like to say, I said competition goes a long way because you really don't know what people are dealing with on a regular day-to-day basis. So you just showing interest in somebody's day-to-day life could really just impact their day. You saying a simple, hey, are you okay? You don't know what that just did for them. Because you don't know if anybody actually does check on them. I'm a big advocate for mental health. So like simple check-in questions like that go a long way for people. So just having that interest in getting to know who your students are, that's great.
Yeah, you kind of stole words out of my mouth. Just believing in your students, just being empathetic and like understanding. And you, like you said, those simple like, hey, how are you doing? Or like a fist bump. I know Jerry today. He is my he's in charge of the office that I'm in, and every time he walks past the desk, he always gives me like a fist bump or something like that. He actually recommended me for this panel, and just being supportive of that is like goes a long way with students.
As a psychology student, I'm loving the emphasis on mental health. So I cannot say that enough. It doesn't matter if it's just an email, just kind of sending out to your students weekly, just making sure that you emphasize that you do care how they're doing. give them those resources on campus that they can go to and just kind of let them know that you're there, because sometimes it does get a little rough, like halfway through the semester, and you're like, these professors don't care. It doesn't. So, yeah.
I would say mine is slightly different. I guess understand that every student learns slightly differently, and just providing those resources. You know, your teaching style it's not possible for it to align with how every single student learns, and that's understandable. But providing those resources so that, you know, they can, on their own time, reach out to you or go to access these resources and learn the way they best learn, so they can truly be successful in your coursework. From the previous experiences, I feel like the classes the students are most successful in are, you know, led by professors who provide you those external resources that teach the same material in a variety of different ways, so that, you know, at your own time you can do whatever it is that you need to do, whether it's practice problems or extra YouTube videos or just lecture notes. It's just providing those resources to your students and knowing that they truly do want to learn and be successful, so that you can be there for them.
Yes, I agree. I'm personally part of AES, so when I was 12 years old, I was diagnosed with mixed connective tissue disease, so that was something I battled with, and yeah, it has its ups and downs, but just knowing that, like, for instance, like Dr. Mars, I love her to death. She worked with me. I was in and out of the hospital a lot, but just knowing that, like, there was like a faculty member that I was taking her course, and she was working with me. So if you do have disability students in particular, I feel like there is a need to just touch base with them and just make sure that you come to an understanding and work with them on what they're dealing with. I've had some teachers that I had to retake courses because they weren't willing to work with me because of my disability. And I can't control when I have flare-ups and when I have to go to the hospital, but it was just an inconvenience for me, but it's okay.
Any final thoughts? This is great advice. Please join me in thanking these amazing students.